Today is another Yay Day.
Oh,
Man, what?
Does this make...
This one's a little different, though.
It's a very, very different conversation. And it's not just Ye being weird or Ye being like, this might be true. And there's a lot of signs to believe that it is true because we've been labeling Ye as saying things just to get attention.
Yes.
But this one has some sort of pseudo receipts. Okay. Kanye yesterday took to social media and said that he has released a new song about his childhood. It's called Cousins. He said in this tweet himself, this song is called Cousins. It's about my cousin that's locked up in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him that we wouldn't be looking at dirty magazines together anymore. His record has a quote that says, I est my cousin's D till I was 14.
Oh, my God.
He says, perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6. And then we acted out what we saw. Kanye went on to say, my dad had Playboys, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. He said, my name is Ye, and I est my cousin's D till I was 14.
Damn. This is vulnerable for him.
Yeah, but I don't know if I don't. And the thing is, there's so many people who have given him grace in the comment sections. Some people are saying, Kanye, lose your phone, put your phone away. You're doing too much. Then there's other people who are like, listen, this kind of family trauma and this kind of trauma really means something and blah, blah, blah. So there's some people who are giving him some compassion, but he's being so whimsical with it, you know, that's where it makes it feel funky. He had in the lyrics of the song repeated a bunch of times. It's kind of like the hook, the chorus.
Okay.
I gave my cousin.
All right.
I'm not going to say the word. Hanging out with my cousin, reading dirty magazines. We seen 2 blanks kissing. We ain't know what that means. Then we started reenacting everything that we seen. That's when I gave my cousin help. I'm not going to say the other word. Song goes on to say, I told my cousin not to tell nobody, and people tell me to take it to the grave. The truth will set you free someday. I don't think they understand. I'm not attracted to a man. That's what
That's a lot to unpack.
the song, and I use song in quotes, says.
Dude, Kanye be rapping about his cousin a lot. Is this the same cousin in Real Friends that stole his laptop that he had to pay to get it back?
I don't know.
I don't know about that, but he
It's
was
almost like a
on
poem.
6 years ago. He was on Jimmy Kimmel. And this was 2019. This was when he had kind of fractured from Kim Kardashian and all that and started wearing a MAGA hat.
Yep.
Remember? And he was explaining, you know, to everybody because like Kim had said she didn't agree and blah, blah, blah. And he was saying, you know, it's not a monolith. You know, you can be on either side. I shouldn't be just because I'm hip hop. I have to be what y'all think. So he was saying that. And as he was explaining to Kimmel, he asked him a question and here was his response. So it's kind of a pseudo receipt right here.
Well, you know, it's funny, you know, in this world that we live in, there's 2 main motivating forces, and I tweet about it all the time. It's love or fear. And you can't explain love. You know, my cousin is locked up for murder, and I love him. And so he did a bad thing, but I still love him.
So he's referenced this cousin in different junctures.
Right, many times.
But never gone into why this person is on, you know, basically locked down forever for this murder. And now he's being a little bit more specific, but then he went in with all of this other stuff. So I don't know if he gets grace from the populace, but it just feels like it's still caught up in a lot. I mean, what are you doing?
What am I believing?
Yeah.
If this happened to you, you have a right, I guess, to live. I was told this weekend that living your truth is almost the worst thing we could have ever told people to do because now we got to keep suffering through everybody just finding their truth.
Right.
And I don't think it's terrible, but I think that people out here telling a lot. And I don't know if we're supposed to give him compassion for this because he's saying until he was 14. He was saying his cousin was 6 at the time. So even though it isn't a law, it still feels like it's against the law of everything we understand to be familial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, the cousin's in jail, and now you're outing somebody that's in jail as well. I wonder if he talked to his cousin about releasing this song or letting the whole world know about
especially if you're in lockdown. Like, if I'm locked down in here and everybody know Kanye my cousin, like, everybody looking at me like, wait, that happened to you? And it's like, damn, dude, I got I got an existence in here. Like, why I got to be a part of it?
And the saddest thing about it, too, is that, Kanye's crying out for help. And there's people, like, I'm looking at the text line right now, the 727. It's like, you can't even believe anything that comes out of this dude's mouth. And it's like, it's sad that we're saying that now because of everything that he's been saying within the last 2 months.
You can't believe what comes out his mouth, but you can't also believe everything that's going in it. Because, I mean, listen, the man said it. Like, I mean, he says stuff and he don't have an edit.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where where Kanye said he was in the spectrum and everybody was like, Kanye, you lying. You ain't never admitted you in the spectrum. Now all of a sudden you in the spectrum.
Right.
But guess what? This where it happens, where people don't understand honesty cues and stuff like that. He thinks if he's being somewhat honest, it's just okay. And it's like, yo, Kanye, you got children.
Yeah.
What do people at your children's school gonna say? Like, you just throw it out there like it's just supposed to be common knowledge. Now I get there's pain there, but man, like, you ain't in the position to get too much compassion because we've been listening to you just announce these crazy stories.
You can work on something without telling the world.
True. But
Yeah.
a lot of artists also use music as, a way for them to have therapy or their therapeutic way of trying to get things out, trying to get through it, the trauma that they've been through in life. So I totally understand why he's doing it, but at the same point,
it's hard to pick and choose, what he's saying.
Especially with Kanye.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. All right, wait. Your word is entry. People are writing, what's the word? The word is entry, and you got another 13 minutes to get that word in. Text entry to 45911. Someone writes out at 813, Ye needs to be in jail. I don't know, because I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
As far as, because you're not an adult.
Right.
But you're also taking advantage of a child, so that has to be some sort of you know what I'm saying? I don't know if the statute of limitations runs out on a person who was a child.
And it's
if you're admitting that you did it.
It's not uncommon where kids will mess with other kids. That's a lot of reasons.
That's not something that you would get absolved from, though.
No, not at all. That's a lot of reasons why people
don't have sleepovers. Could he get in trouble for saying this?
It depends on the state where it happened at that time. I mean, how long ago it was, and the dude's in jail, so I don't know.
Okay, out of the 631, it says, this is why unfettered access to porn is so detrimental and messing up our men. This is way more common than people think. Listen now.
Unfettered at a young age, I can definitely see this person having a point.
I mean, they say messing up our men, though. I'm just saying, like, listen. I feel attacked.
I see a couple of texts like that. This one says, I think he opened up the door for a real conversation about these kids with access to this type of material, especially with phones and all the things that are around.
Now, I agree with that. These two texts that just came in, absolutely, that you guys just read. Yes.
But I feel wrong by even having that part of the conversation, because it's like, now we're like, Kanye's announcement is making a lot of people be aware of what's going on. So now we're going to be like, oh, you're a hero because you're telling us this?
Well, we do miss the old Kanye, so I feel like we do, not that we're giving anybody a pass here. It's just kind of like, okay, maybe this can be a Band-Aid for a second for us to have this conversation.
We're going to actually sit here and believe that Kanye has a cry for help right now. Out of all of these things that he's expounded on, this is a cry for help.
No, I think everything he's been doing within ever since his mother's death, I think everything has been a cry for help. I think he needs some therapy for real.
Lawrence out of the 863 said South Park was right. Kanye was a gay fish.
You ever seen that episode?
I've seen it a million times, and it's hilarious.
See, wow. Why hasn't anyone put a censorship on him? How was it so easy for them to do it to Britney and not to him? Because I don't think Britney was a danger to herself.
Why? Because she shaved her head?
Because she was just a danger to herself.
She wasn't.
She really was.
She wasn't.
You was gonna hurt
You and I will.
We fight this all the time. But
Yeah.
Brittany had family members who were worried about her being able to have money and just be out there crazy.
Stealing from her.
You.
That's the number one Britney fan.
I'm
right
one
there,
of them.
so,
I'm
you know.
not-
I mean,
Yeah,
but
number
Kanye
one.
just doesn't feel the same kind of. First of all, she was young, and she was rich,
Yes.
and she was impressionable and making really bad decisions. Kanye's old and rich and making very bad decisions. So it's
And walking
it's very,
around in a KKK outfit.
right, and it's so hard to tell an adult you can't do certain things, because if that's the case, your Trumps, your Elons, your rich people who out here who are eccentric would never exist. But a kid, when you
wasn't a
got
kid.
parents,
She was over the age of 18 and over the age of 21 at that time.
she was still a kid. She was like, you know how Michael Jackson is like, I never had a childhood, so this is why I got
This is why I
elephants
act like that?
this is why I got,
carnival?
merry-go-rounds in the yard and all this other
Ferris
stuff. We were looking at Britney the same way. You're young and you're out here, you're acting up, and now you're acting crazy. So somebody got to step in.
Right.
And maybe it was sexist because it was a woman or whatever, but I don't see Kanye as his money is the problem. His mouth and
It's
his
the problem.
phone is the problem.
Yeah.
I think more of the problem is that he needs to talk to somebody, a professional.
I think he's opened up. He said that he's talked to a lot of different therapists and stuff, but he did get back together with his wife. I saw them out, just pictures of them last night, I believe in LA. Or
Out of
wherever.
214 says, wait a minute, so Kanye's a bisexual? He says he's not attracted to men.
I think this is just trauma from his childhood that he's bringing in this song.
There's been rumors for quite some time, so obviously we don't have any confirmation. He says he's not, but there's been rumors for a long time.
I got a text message out of Ohio. This is as a therapist, I do remember that Kanye expressed having bipolar disorder several years ago. This can be a part of mania in which he is having an episode. People go off and LOL. So in one way, that might be happening. And in another way, he may be very well need to make another appointment with a therapist because he said the quiet things out loud in public, and somebody needs to check on our guy.
Okay, wait. Imagine the cousin, right? Cousin's in jail, right? And maybe this entire time he's been like, I'm not. Even though I'm stuck in jail, I like women. And now this information.
But that's what I mean.
And now the other prisoners are gonna be like, well, you did with Kanye.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you basically have been telling everybody, Kanye, my cousin.
Right.
Like, 6 years ago when he was on
big
Kimmel,
deal.
hey, you see him mention me in that interview? I'm
Yes.
Kanye's cousin. I'm Kanye's
And
cousin.
now-
And they're like, hey, man, you see what the news
You know
had
what,
out there?
Kanye?
Kanye said, what my cousin say? Said he.
Ugh.
See.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's-
Kanye making up stuff
Yeah,
right
no,
there. It's like,
it's a
now
lie.
you done affected me in here. There ain't no number of money you could put on my books
Right.
that's going to make it clear. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to have compassion for somebody that is out here using that kind of trauma for bars.
Yeah. Somebody
agree.
said, let's ask Diddy. I bet he knows.
I'm sure Diddy knows a lot of stuff about a lot of people, including Kanye.
I don't know.
Either way, I know we're making jokes and stuff about it. I just think that it would be best if Kanye just lost his phone for a while, spoke to somebody, and really got the help that he needed. Honestly.
Of course, we want him to heal and get better. I don't know if he can get beyond and past all the stuff he's been doing this past couple of years, but we'll see.
All I'm gonna say is, if anybody else admitted that they had some sort of dalliance with their 6-year-old cousin
Right.
as a teen, we would not be this kind.
Not at all.
And everybody's like, well, this is a cry for help. If they showed it on the news yesterday that a 14-year-old somebody did something with a 6-year-old somebody
In jail.
we would all be like, lock them up. We would all be like, yo, that's what's wrong with society. And we would just be like mad. So for him, who has shown us that he doesn't care about nothing
At all.
or nobody, to put this out, I don't have compassion for that. Now, I get family dynamic and everybody else has had different stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody just said, well, it's a double standard about with the Britney thing. I'm not trying to connect things. I'm just saying, in general, if that news dropped about anybody,
Yeah.
we would be bugging. So I'm sorry. I don't have that compassion for him. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to hear this and be like, oh, now I get Kanye's pain.
No.
I don't get Kanye's pain.
No, that 6-year-old didn't have a decision. It was done to
It's messed
them.
up.
If you loved that video, then you're going to want to check out more. Make sure you hit subscribe right below.